Write that down. Write that down, motherfucker. Write that down. Write that down. Write it down. Write it down. Write that down, motherfucker. I'm just trying to help you guys get absolutely massive. That's what we want to do at the end of the day. We all have the same goal of getting huge. Why not me try and help you get there? You know what I mean? I'm not a twat, I promise you. I'm the biggest twat ever. Yes guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Just the Start prep series. We're here, we are 14 weeks into prep. We are just under 11 weeks out. We are training legs today. We've got Sam behind the camera, obviously. We are back on home turf. Stafford, train with intent. If you know, you know. But like I mentioned, in for legs. This is our first leg session post deload, but we're slowly working into it. We'll see how we feel. Like I mentioned on the last video, if we can full send it, then we're going to send it. If not, we'll leave a couple RAR. We'll see how we get on. But other than that, we're feeling good. I'm going to take you through this leg session, how to grow some legs, even though I haven't got big legs, but I can give you some information to try and help you out. I'm going to take you through what I do on a leg day, and then we'll go from there. We'll get the bag in. It's not got coach in there though, so I'm not a coach, but when I upgrade myself, I'll get like the coach badge. So you probably heard it thousands of times. We're putting carbs at the start because we want to make the most of them. If you put them at the end, we're going to be absolutely battered from the compounds, the isolation. So that's true. We put them at the start, so we're fresh, we can just get them out of the way. Obviously, we still keep the execution, the accuracy, and the intensity as high as possible. But with this calf press, it's really, really good. If your gym doesn't have this, I'd recommend take your bloody shoes off when you're doing any form of standing calf raise, seated calf raise, and then just pause in both ranges. Really, really recommended. Pause in both ranges and take your shoes off. Here he is, big man. Say hello. Get him on the camera, mate. Ryan, if you want to get on the camera, mate, there he is. You're probably wondering why I'm pausing in both ranges and doing it without my shoes on. So the reason why I do it without my shoes on is just to create more stability at the ankle, so therefore we can produce more force, and also pausing in both ranges so we're minimizing inertia at the knee. How many times have you seen people on standing calf raise bend at the knee and make it like literally like a leg press, a quad press? But just pause in both ranges, control the change directions, perfect. Boom, boom, boom. You're probably seeing my weight as well. So one thing that I have been doing in prep is I've been tracking my scale weight from every session. This isn't to give myself an excuse of being like, oh yeah, I'm 6 pounds down from my last leg session, I can therefore be weaker. It's just giving me an idea of my scale weight fluctuations from session to session. And it just lets me know, okay, I'm 2 pounds down from the last session. It's not an excuse to drop execution intensity just because I'm 2 pounds lighter, so I'm gonna be weaker. If anything, it actually gives me more motivation to try and match the numbers. The chafe machine, AKA adductor. Oh, let's warm up. Let's warm up. Adductor, to do it before or to do it after your compounds. Pros and cons of both. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It does have some contributing factors. I have 2 adductor twice in a week. So I have one before my compounds on one session, and I have it after my compounds on another session. Okay, so I'm getting the benefits of both. But on this session, I'm having it prior, but on my other lower session, on a Saturday, I have it after my compounds at the end of the session. Make it out like I've got big legs. That's what they do, don't they? People, yeah. Got real big legs here. Yeah, they feel good. Like calves, do not skip your adductor work, okay? A few cues here that I have posted on my Instagram. Sam, you can put my Instagram here. Talking about change direction. Adductor is a very, very small muscle group built up of little small muscles, which we are gonna be compromising in that lengthened range. Spend some time in that lengthened range to make sure you control the change direction. I will keep harping on about the change direction. Secondly as well, a big, big, big thing I see people do is when they come into this lengthened range, they curl over, their forearms are touching their legs, and literally you can just chuck yourself out. That's what people do. And they're not letting the adductor take all the load, okay? Keep a nice neutral spine, hands on the handles, your forearms aren't anywhere near your quads, and then you can drive through, letting your adductor take all the load. Pause and lengthened, drive through. Very simple, but an easy one to get wrong. Write that down, motherfucker. Oh, God. The only reason I did that was because, I forgot your name, I'm sorry. But he put it in the comments. He was saying he's ready to get his ready for me to say, write that down, motherfucker, because Cuba does it. Big up Cuba, by the way, great content. I'm acting like he's gonna see it. I'm acting like Cuba's gonna see this. Two sets here, and then 2 sets on the other leg day, but 7 to 10, 12 to 15, 2-second pause in the length and range. So make sure to write it down. Acting all sophisticated, all good. Bellissimo. Oh. If you know the pain, you know the pain, honestly. Good 2 sets there. Good 2 sets. As this is my first leg session or first week post deload, a good thing that I'll always say to people is just set your execution for the whole mesocycle in your first week. Don't reset things because your execution should already be perfect, but just set yourself up for a good solid baseline and foundation around everything. So then for week to week, you can just get better. I actually progressed those 2 sets from the last week of my previous meso, so all is going well. All is going well. Stack for 9. 71, sorry, for 13. Now time for seated ham. The whole gang's here. Yeah, man, I just got salmon for a leg session. I'm telling them how to get big quads, but I think you should do the video instead.
I don't know how to get big.
That's the person who should be doing how to get big quads, not me. Swimmer's legs over here, Michael Phelps. Doesn't have that many sets of quads, but still got bigger quads than both people. Yeah, I haven't got that many either, mate. Mine are growing at quite a good rate. So seated hamstring curl, 3 sets here. This is our only direct hamstring work on this session. So 3 sets here, 2 things to point out. Axis of rotation, make sure your knee is in line with the axis of rotation. Point of application, the calf pad, make it as high up the calf as comfortably possible to make sure the point of application is as close to the working joint, which is the knee, okay? Very 2 simple things that you can do to make sure you're optimizing your setup for the seated hamstring curl. Write it down. I should stop saying that. Seat belt as well, like any roller coaster, strap yourself in because you're going to be in for one hell of a ride. Yeah, there we go. Question is, grey, silver, or black? What do we have? No black this time. I went black once, I can't go again. Back to silver. With any movement, all you got to do is know a few things that can optimize the way you train. And then you haven't got to overcomplicate things at all. Learn how to train a muscle, how to set a machine up for your biomechanics, and then progressively overload from there. Don't overcomplicate things. Oh no, I've got to act all hard in the zone. Elite level. Very good. As you saw, adding a little pause in the length and range. Again, just standardising execution across the board. Really important to do that. So I do find that a little pause in the length and range on the seated hamstring curl suits me. Might not suit you. Give it a try. Again, just making sure that you find the ways on any exercise what works for you. Just getting so lean, bro. Getting the seatbelt's just getting tighter and tighter each week. Don't worry about scale weight. I'll literally go on this machine every single time I'm here just to see if it gets any tighter. That's how I'm measuring my progression right now. Yeah, come on. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that was stack. Stack for 11. So, whenever I do 3 sets on something, the usual approach I would take is I would do like a medium set of like an 8 to 12 or a 9 to 12, maybe even 10 to 12. Assess the load, maybe go a little bit heavier, and then do a lighter. So it's like medium, heavy, light. But with this set or with this setup, because I can stack it for 5 for 8, I just try and run that up nicely, and then do like 2 heavier sets, and then like an 8 to 12, and then on the back off set, I try and get around sort of 15 reps. But with anything, we got like 3 sets, I would always assess going medium first, then heavier, then lighter. And then again, if you feel like you get more from heavier, lighter, and go lighter, do that. And now I'm out of breath. Oh. 14. And just because you're doing a lighter set doesn't mean execution slips. I see you out there. Top set, perfect execution. Next thing you know, your back off set is. I see you out there. Tips to help you out on the leg extension. Same as the seated hamstring curl. Axis of rotation, make sure your knees in line. Same with the point of application, as high up the tibialis anterior, or basically the front of your leg as possible, close to the working joint. But as well, a big cue that helped me when coming into that shortened range, at the end of that concentric, imagine curling your toes back towards you. Real big cue there, that will help you get the quad nice and short, but don't underestimate the power of your isolation work. Treat them like you would your compound. I know loads of people say it, but it's very true. You want big quads, treat these like your compounds. So literally something I mentioned on the last episode, I think it was on the tricep extension machine. Whenever you go on any bit of equipment, always check the resistance profile. This is the reason why this gym has 2 leg extensions. They both have different profiles, even though we're overloading the shortened range. This one overloads the shortened range quite heavily. If you've ever been on this Nautilus bit of kit, you'll understand. And the Cybex one over there is more heaviest in the mid to lengthened range, and that's why I'm placing this prior to my compounds, just tax that shortened range even more. But that's the reason why I'm not spending any time in that shortened range, because this movement alone as a leg extension already loads the shortened range. But on this bit of kit, this sole bit of kit, the resistance profile is so much harder in the shortened range. There's no point spending there when the movement already overloads the shortened range, plus this Nautilus leg extension overloads it even more. So just making sure, slight pause in the lengthened range to control the change of direction, because this pad's literally leaning back, so we can cause a lot of inertia around here, and then drive through, right down. As well, don't forget your straps, strap yourself in, right down. Doesn't help that I'm sitting on my straps. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Stack for 9, like you saw there. A little pause in the lengthened range. You don't need a pause in the lengthened range. The reason why I do is just minimize basically cheating any reps. I want the most out of this. So if I can control every portion and every part of the range, I will do a way of doing that, okay? I've had really bad legs. I still don't have the best legs. And that's from throwing around loads of load and not controlling both end ranges, okay? Making sure that you're treating these isolations just like you would compounds, and making sure you're doing what's best for you. A lot of people won't pause in the lengthened range. I will, so I won't cheat myself. Oh, you guys know the feeling when you know a set's going to be hard. This is it. Well, they're all hard to be fair. Let's go. Oh. Decent. Feels like a ton of bricks coming down on you. If you want big legs, you need to train like you want big legs. You need to actually want to have big legs. People complain that their quads aren't growing, their hamstrings aren't growing, whatever. It's because you see them train and they don't want it. Their training intensity is not there. They pick the easy route of training legs, okay? Training legs is hard. Growing legs is hard. That's why you see not a lot of people training legs with proper intensity. It's taken me ages to train with proper intensity, and I'm just trying to find simple things to help my execution and cues for me. But if you want big legs, you've got to want it. Write that fucking down. Not the usual, treat your isos like your compounds. Everyone says that. Everyone says that. You've got to want to have big legs to get big legs. Yes, you have the genetic freaks now and there who can literally look at a leg press and their quads will blow up. But people like me, longer femurs, okay, you got to want it. You got to work for it. By all means, I've not got the biggest legs, but they've come on quite a lot, and it's down to wanting it. The goal here, people, is to maximize quad stimulus. How do we do that? We try and create as much knee flexion as possible. Me being 6'4", I have to adjust the setup to make sure that I can achieve that. Somebody who's 4'1" or 5 foot, they're going to adjust the setup for them to make sure when you're heading into any of your compound work, whether that's a leg press, squat variant, make sure the setup is perfect for you, your biomechanics, so you can achieve what you want out of the set. Okay, everyone is different, so make sure you do what's best for you. Oh, you got to want it, people. You got to want it. Stack for 10 there. Felt very good, felt very good. Coming off the back of a deload, I'm feeling fresh. So, it just felt really nice, to be honest. No explanation on why. I'm feeling fresh off a deload. It's taken me ages to get this set up perfect in terms of where to put the back pad, how low to put my feet, to make sure my lower back's not rounding. And I found it. And that's after a year and a bit. I've tried different things, but got the perfect setup. Now time for the back off. That felt good. In that scenario there, you just got to just keep going. And with the higher rep stuff, you just got to make sure you're standardizing that breathing. You want to make sure you're not bracing really hard from rep 1, because you're just going to compromise your bracing towards the back end of the set. You want to make sure you're bracing just enough where you can produce just as much force as you want to. So by the end, your breathing rate's down, you're trying to keep your heart rate down as much as possible. So when you are in that back end of the set, 12 reps plus, your breathing rate's all good. So therefore you can brace perfectly to get those final few. Oh my Lord. Big thing to help you out in terms of your setup with any leg press or squat variant. Actually allow your feet to face out slightly. And what it's going to allow you to do is cue your knees over your toes. Plus it will allow for something fancy, external rotation of the hip. It will free your hip up and therefore allow you to get more depth and more knee flex because it frees up the hip. So when actually trying to find your setup, which we spoke about earlier, actually allow your feet to turn out slightly, not too far, but just a little bit, just to allow to free your hips up more and allow you to get more knee flexion. More knee flexion, more quad stimulus. More quad stimulus, bigger quads. Write that down. Adding some unilateral work for some glute and adductor volume. Plus as well, as you can see by the setup, I'm having the pad slightly higher, so I'm creating more hip flexion, so therefore my glute is therefore going to lengthen slightly. And this setup is perfect. It's got the same profile as what a Bulgarian split squat would, but I haven't got to worry about the stability of having 2 dumbbells or 1 dumbbell. Obviously I'm in a stable environment here, that being a machine, so I'm going to pick this all day over a Bulgarian split squat. Produce more force with being in a more stable environment. That is a batty builder. That's what you call that. As you can see as well, I'm just slightly dead stopping the stack just so I can standardize my reps. Just so I know I'm getting as much knee flex as I am from the first rep to the last. Usually what you find with people, with anyone to be honest, I've done it before, where when fatigue builds up in a set, you start just cutting that range just an inch by inch shorter and shorter, because you're thinking, oh, I want to get more, one more. But so if there's any way where you can standardize how much depth you're getting on a setup, do it. So that's why I'm just dead stopping these reps. We're done. In that setup there, I forgot to mention, that is going to be more glute bias. With adductor, if I want to get a bit more adductor, I put my foot a little bit higher so the adductor's stretching more. So it's more glute bias, but that's it done. Leg day wrapped up. Finito. So that's leg day wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed watching. Hopefully gives you a little bit of an insight of why I do things the way I do. Hopefully give you a few cues to help you with your execution on getting big legs. So just to go over rotary calf press, adductor, seated hamstring curl, leg extension, leg press, and some unilateral work in there. So give it a try, see what you think. If you enjoyed it, I'm going to do a little bit of posing now in front of Sam. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. But currently 10.5 weeks out from the first show. I think last time we spoke was about 13 weeks out. So scale weight's down from there. Visual looks better. Everything's going in the right direction. I'm super happy with where things are at. As you can see, training's in a really progressive model at the moment where everything's moving really well. Yeah, there are a few things that are regressing here and there, but that's understandable with where we're at. But we'll still make sure that everything's still in a good spot. So hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.